Hello everyone, Cacti and Carnivores here, and today I'm going to be doing another plant log. This is going to be a late plant log um, because last 2 weeks ago when I was supposed to be doing one, I kind of overworked myself and school caught up with me and I couldn't film anything, and I was absent for one day. Yeah, so basically I just didn't have time to record anything. So this one's going to be, the last one's going to be 4 weeks ago instead of 2 weeks ago. And I'm sorry about that, but nothing really should be that bad once I recover and resume this sort of schedule. So yeah, let's just get into everything. You may have noticed that some changes have occurred. Basically, we moved some stuff in this room. There's a TV now with a pine cone and a drum set here. And this shelf, which was originally over here, was moved to be right here. And some stuff was cleared. And now I have like a new growing space for all my plants. This top place right here, this little area, can be used for the plants that are potted up, don't really need tray method to keep wet or keep the soil moist. And stuff down here, I'm planning on getting like a good grow light or something, maybe some sort of terrarium. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot that could fit here, and that ought to be really interesting. I can still grow stuff on the windowsill. It'll just be kind of hard to get to. And I moved the Sphagnum Moss, and we'll talk about that later. And yeah, I really like this. I'm able to put all my tools here, everything. I over-organized it for no reason. Down here, pesticide, neem oil. I'll talk about that again later. More tools, distilled water. Pretty much everything can now be put on the shelf instead of on the ground. And I really like this. And it's going to be cool to see what this will turn into in the next couple of months if I'm lucky and have some money to spend. So yeah, let's just get into all the plants. Let's start with the Christmas cacti. Doing pretty good. Not much has changed with it, although I really hope some of its growth won't be as deformed in the future. It's been getting a lot of weird like growth that isn't awful per se. It's just like you see like over here, like you have like a leaf and then you'll have like a small one, this small one, and then another big one, and then another small one, and it kind of leaves the plant looking kind of weird looking. That was redundant. It leaves the plant looking kind of weird, so yeah, I wish it would grow a bit more stable. These guys over here, I tried to squeeze them as close together as I could. They're kind of stepping over each other right now, but they're doing pretty good. Their growth, they've been taken off and slowed down. Everything's sort of developing. Let's get a better shot right here. Yeah, they're just looking really good. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm trying to get them all to fit. I just want them just to be as much like as space conserving as possible. So yeah, that ought to be good. Yeah, this one's been doing good. This one, they've all been doing pretty well. And another cool thing is that within like couple months, it's October. So yeah, by like December or Thanksgiving hits, hopefully some of them will all be in bloom, especially this one. This one's big enough to support a lot of blooms, and I won't really care. And for these, some of them are kind of small, and I wouldn't want them to bloom and waste their energy. But yeah, we'll be getting some good red blooms from this one. Some weird white ones here. More white, some red. Pretty much just a bunch of white. and some red, so that'll be cool. Yeah, so that's the Christmas cacti. The Nepenthes has been doing outstanding. You can see it has been putting out new traps. You can see this old one. It's kind of a weird light thing. You can see that the lid's kind of shriveled up because I haven't watered in a little while. This has matured completely. Looks nice. This pitcher just opened up a while ago. It's been 4 weeks instead of 2. And this one looks pretty nice. I hope it keeps the flared peristome with the sharp sort of striped peristome. But with that one, most of the stripes went away when the whole thing went sort of dark maroon, which won't be like bad really. They're nice looking plants regardless, but a striped peristome just adds such a good look on it. Yeah, and so it's going to be cool to see this plant grow. All of its pitchers developing, and it's looking nice. It's a nice plant. I like it. So yeah, let's go down to here. I'll pull this one forward. You can see Flytrap cutting has been doing really nice, putting out tons of new growth. I believe it's 2 to 3 plants here, not entirely sure. Sorry if the lighting's kind of bad. Yeah, I tried feeding, you see those specks in the traps. I tried feeding it just to see what it would do. The traps I don't think are fully developed, so they're not really big enough. They haven't closed at all. Usually I've fed small Venus flytraps in the past, and usually they eat. They close the traps, but like really slowly, but they digest it. They haven't even closed it at all. So yeah, might need a couple more months to get going before dormancy sets in. So this Drosera spatulata seedlings or seeds haven't done anything. Eventually they'll sprout any minute now. They are just really old seeds, I believe. Haven't done anything. Might as well just like forget about them until they do anything. There's a chance that they won't. You know, most like seeds just gotta wait until, just forget about them. Carnivorous plant seeds. I'm surprised that they haven't like, you know, sprouted or done anything within like 3 months. Whatever. Like the flower stock cutting took a shorter amount of time, and that was like started at like February and then ended at like March is when they started to sprout. So yeah, that's that. Sphagnum Moss, I'm thinking it's making progress. I moved it over here in this windowsill because it's been cooling down quite a bit. It's October, so I won't have to worry about it overheating. And I've just I got a tad like forgetful, and this clump has dried out completely. I'm pretty sure it's dead because I forgot to spray it, and I just decided out of like mild frustration just to pour a bunch of water in the bottom, and they have been just soaking it up. They don't seem to care. They're just going at it, which is nice. Hopefully when I get a grow light, if I do, I can just let them go on, and then they'll just grow like nothing. They'll probably look a lot better than how they are now. They're still alive and they're still growing, still doing well. Yeah, so that's the Sphagnum Moss. So with all this out of the way, let's go outside. Alright, so we are outside in the backyard. You have to mind the wind here. It's unusually windy this day, so sorry about that. you may hear a bit of audio distortion, but anyways, so the cacti, doing pretty good. They're kind of slowing down in visible growth from what I can see. So they haven't been doing much. This cutting I've moved out up here with them. Seems to be growing as quickly as it will grow. The reason I moved them up here as opposed to being down there is because this thing, that would have knocked them over like just every day pretty much if I left them up here, kept putting them up. That's been rolled up so I can just leave them here and they'll get a bit more sunlight and be happier. And yeah, they're doing pretty good. When winter comes around and it starts raining regularly, I'm gonna have to move them inside into my room so they can stay dry, because they're temperate cacti, so they need like a dry season. And with that being said, I won't do any sort of future like segments on them, like here's the cacti. They've been completely identical for the past month, so yeah, that's pretty much why. So yeah, cacti are doing good. And over here I moved, it's where I moved all my Venus flytraps and Sarracenia. Let's look at it over here, so the sunlight. And there are these stupid little helicopter seeds all over the place, getting in the pots, wreaking havoc from this tree right here. And I have to say, some things doing good, some things doing bad. You can see a lot of the growth on the Sarracenia. The Scarlet Bell has been dying. Pretty sure it's just like their growth cycle. Really, I don't really think they're settling for in for dormancy quite yet. It is kind of, it's still pretty warm to be dormant at the moment. And the sundew back here, its latest growth is somewhere in there, right in there. And there's another one growing somewhere. I don't know. Hopefully it'll still be alive and still growing when I separate them out for the winter or next spring. So yeah, that'll be good. This one's been growing pretty well, so I'm good for that. The Venus flytraps, some bad things have been happening to these guys. This one hasn't been putting out any new growth. All the growth that starts to be put out just sort of dies before it can fully develop. I'm wondering if this is a pest thing. I've heard it's occasionally an overwatering thing if it's like kept really moist, because of the sphagnum moss has a tendency to do that. But I've been keeping them drier. I've noticed that the sphagnum moss is like really absorbent compared to peat and perlite, so yeah, hopefully they'll pull through. This one hasn't been doing as bad, but some of these traps just are not functional, really. Like, I don't even know what the hell this thing's doing. But you know, it's what these have been doing for like quite a while, ever since I've got them. Like, they look good in the early spring, kind of tumble around summer, and then fall they're like just barely okay, and then winter's a bunch of stuff happens, and spring they come out and look good again. So yeah, hopefully they'll do good. Yeah, so those are those. This Venus flytrap, this is a little one off the typical that I repotted. I'll show you where the other ones have gone. This one I believe is doing nice. It's got some good coloration in the traps. The traps are grown and functional, which is more than what I can say about these. It's a nice little plant. I kind of like the smaller ones. And it's been catching food, doing its thing, and yeah, it's good. Like it. The maroon monster hasn't like even cared about the weather really. It's just growing, putting out traps, liking everything, catching a lot of food. This is my favorite really growing cultivar so far. There's about 2 plants in here, I believe. There's like a really small one back there. I don't quite know what happened to it. Some new traps from this other one. You can see caught 2 insects. I'm assuming at different times. So yeah, this one's probably the healthiest cultivar I have in terms of Venus flytraps. So that's good. It's a red clone, so didn't expect it to be amazingly fast, even though it was a maroon monster. But it's done what it's done. So let me show you what happened to the other 2 pots of Venus flytraps. Here they are. They're right here. There are bits and pieces of seeds that are just gross and weird. So what has happened with them is they have been infected with aphids. Some of their growth is all screwed up right here. You can see, oh dear God, that shadow. Yeah, you can see some aphids somewhere. So I used that neem oil I showed you earlier, just blasted them a couple of times yesterday, and I think the ones are dead. I'll be giving them another couple of spritzes, and I've keep them separate from the rest of the fly traps over there just so the aphids don't spread. I hope these ones pull out. They look like decent plants. Aside from the aphids, they look relatively healthy. So yeah, that's pretty much everything so far. A lot has happened, and I hope to be kind of getting back into the rhythm of things after last Sunday. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Goodbye.